How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another 1 bar build in Gedonia. Today we're going to be using the Northern Warrior armor set. So let's dive in and check out the armor. So having a look at this armor, it's very Viking inspired with all the fur scattered around the armor everywhere, open face, helmet. I really like the contrast between the leather, the metal, and the fur. I think it's a really well put together armor set. So let's check out the unique armor bonuses. So when you have 2 pieces of the Northern Warrior armor set, your War Scream is changed into Viking Fury, which can be stacked up to 5 times and lasts longer. But with all 5 pieces of the armor set, each Viking Fury stack increases chance to spawn an ice shard, and that will strike on a melee attack, and any frost damage received has 50% chance to be ignored and add 1 more stack of Viking Fury. Now let's move on to the armor's actual stats. This armor set has pretty good damage reduction with both physical and magical damage absorption. You got decent amount of health, decent amount of stamina bonus, melee damage bonus, very good magic resistance, more attack speed, and you get a bit of jump height to it as well. This armor set's really good for trading blows with an enemy. So you can be in their face, take a few, and give some back to them. Right, let's have a look at the accessories. So of course, I went with the Cloak of Shadow, which increases the critical strike chance, get a decent amount of health, a whopping 250% melee damage, fair boost to critical damage multiplier. So the accessories set I went with is the Gambler's set, and the 2 item bonus is when an enemy dies, it can grant an effect that increases the crit multiplier by 100%. And if you have all 4 killing blows to your character, so killing blows to you, a chance to be ignored and just heal you instead, which is huge. So if you're on the verge of going down, you can just bang, get healed instead. With the 4 pieces of the Gambler's set, I chose these because you get the critical strike chance and the critical damage multiplier. So with the necklace and trinket, you get 20% of each, and with the rings, you get 15% each. So my crit chance is max at 75% every 3 and 4 hits. So I'll be a crit machine. All right, let's move on to the weapons. The weapons I chose for this build are Hammer of Chains and also the Earthbound Smasher. With Hammer and Chains, each strike has a chance to chain enemies around the target, immobilizing them, and chained enemies receive damage over time. After some time, chained enemies can explode. Pretty average damage for your one-handed. You've got 60 to health, 80 to stamina, and 20% crit damage multiplier, which that's what we're looking for, the crit damage multipliers. And with the Earthbound Smasher, each strike stacks damage absorbing shield on the player. Each strike has a chance to spawn underground strike on an enemy around the player. Each strike can spawn waves of rocks all around the player. A bit of an AoE effect on it, and plus you have an absorbing shield for survivability. Same with this weapon, it's pretty average for a one-hander, but you also get a 40% boost to attack speed. Pretty damn big. All right, let's jump into the skills. All right, let's start with Ferocity. So you want Powerful Strike level 2, and this will be our single target ability where we'll deal 375% damage and knock down enemies. Next ability, we have Charge, which is just our maneuverability, jump and slam the ground, knocking enemies down. So we just got level 2 because of the invincibility. So moving on, we have War Scream, level 2. We need this because it changes into Viking Fury. And with 5 stacks of Viking Fury, we can have 250% melee damage, which is a lot more than 150. So next up, we have Whirlwind Strike, level 2. So this just increases the radius of level 1. And this is going to be our AoE damage dealer. So when there's more than 3 enemies, I'd suggest just use that. Next up, we have Rage. Of course, every time we attack, we gain stacks of Rage, also our melee damage. Then we have Angry Strike, so we can release that rage and we can deal a shockwave every 40 rage, and they'll stun enemies around us as well. And then, of course, the Killing Frenzy mastery skill that doubles our rage generation and also increases our attack speed. Next up, we have melee damage level 5. Next up, we have melee damage level 5, which just increases our melee damage by 70%. Then we have one-handed weapons level 2. This is just a passive that it just bolsters our one-handed weapons. So we can deal 21% more damage, have 15% more attack speed, and 3% critical chance. Next up, we have combat mastery. So we got enchant weapon level 2. So we can enchant our weapon with whatever element that we choose. Level 2 will send out a cleave attack that deals 50% of our main weapon damage. Also can scale with our magic damage bonuses too. A good cone of damage in front of the character. Then we have level 4 Rend, which gives us a 20% chance to cause bleeding to an enemy. It's very handy to have when you are surrounded and you just smash the whirlwind strike. Just put dots on everything. Next up, we have piercing strikes and piercing strikes level 2. So we have a 33% chance to put an armor piercing effect on a target that increases their received damage by 1%. So every time there's a piercing strike debuff on the target, you'll do 1% more damage. And piercing strike level 2 adds the trauma effect on the target, which reduces their movement speed and attack speed by 20% for 15 seconds. Then we have fencing level 4. The guaranteed armor piercing effect at the end of the combo, but this just makes a weapon combo so you're a bit more, looks a bit more fancier, and we can deal more damage for every step in that combo too. Next up, we have blood magic. So we have the blood element level 2. So this will be our passive buff that we can put on ourselves and our weapon. So with our weapon, it'll do healing enchants. Every time we hit, we can get a little bit more health, like a leeching effect. That's why we chose blood element. So here we have mark of blood level 2. This will drain our health by 10%. It'll assign a mark of blood to the target, which will slowly deal damage and increase our chance of triggering bloody attacks by 15%. While attacking the target, the damage is increased even more. So put this on like an elite or like a boss or something if you're fighting ads. Also bloody attacks level 3, which of course has a 10% chance to restore 8% of our health. Then we have hunger for blood, which increases our movement speed by 5% for every enemy that's near us. The more enemies you have around you, the faster you attack. Very handy to have. Then we have bloody frenzy. So this just increases our bloody attacks triggering by 20%. Next up, we have defense tree. So survivability level 2, just to straight up increase the health by 60. The movability just straight up increases our knockdown resistance. And of course, defense master, which will give us an additional 30% more health. Then in the banditry skill tree, we have got apply poison. We have a 100% chance to apply our poison with each hit. Level 2 obviously increases damage of poisons. And then the mastery skill, poisons can be spread around to all the targets in the vicinity. So you can put a lot of dots on enemies. If you whirlwind strike, that's crazy amount of poison that just spreads to everything. As you hit one target, it spreads. You'll hit multiple targets, so it'll spread again. You hit 3 people at the same time, it goes nuts. Anyway, then we have glancing blows. But every time we take damage, we have a 10% chance to evade that damage. And of course, the lower your health, the more of that chance is increased. And you also get an additional 10% for every point in agility. A glancing blow will never kill us either. We've got 2 ways of protecting ourselves. With glancing blow, it'll never kill us. And also we've got that gambler's trinket. The killing blow can heal us instead. Next up, we have the talents. So we just got 5 points in the health bonus for survivability. Straight up 500 boost to health. Our melee damage bonus, which increases our melee damage by 250%. Our defense bonus gives us 5% more armor and magic resist. And of course, our speed bonus gives us another 15% attack speed and also 1.25 movement speed. All right, let's see what damage we can do with this. Let's see, here we are at the Frost Ogre camp. I'm going to put our buffs on. All right, we've got our blood element on now. We're going to just use Viking Fury, gather a few enemies up, use Mark for Blood, and then just go ham. Just try and group up as much as you can. Put another Mark for Blood on. Get this Shaman down. Keep spamming that Viking Fury. See, we're getting a lot of stuns in too. Get a lot of whirlwind strikes in. So we are just slamming the ground. You can see the chains going off. A lot of stuff happening. Now we've got all of our Viking Furies on. You can just see we had pretty much just smashing these guys. Use our charge as well, just to break them up if you need. Really, you can... Single targets stand no chance with this build, because you'll just constantly stun lock them. And with all the Viking Furies, your damage is pretty damn high. Got Gambler's Luck there. You can see all the crits happening too. And there you go. Like, we got rid of them pretty quick. Could be a little bit quicker, but it's all about survivability too. You can see our DPS is like 4,324, so we'll be doing in between 2,000 to 3,000 damage. So this build's very trade blow for blow heavy, but as you could see, we could take on a pretty big group of frost ogres which do hit like trucks. You do have that maneuverability as well. With charge, you can get out of danger pretty quickly, and also with all the poisons you can be dealing a lot more damage. As you may or may not have noticed, I haven't put any enhancements on weapons or even enchants on armor. You can do a lot more damage and have a lot more resistance by doing that, especially poisons with 100% chance to be put on and then spread, so your dots will be through the roof. But for this series, I'm just keeping it sort of bare bones, so you guys can decide how you want to progress with this build, branch it out a lot further. Hope you guys enjoyed this build. I have fun making them. That's going to do it for me anyway. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you in the next one. All right, guys, take care.